All right then. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Let's move straight to Ogun State, where dictators are never as strong as they think they are, and people are never as weak as they think they are. In this vein, the Ogun State Police Command has invited and interrogated the Olorile of Orile-Ifo, Oba Abdulsemiu Ogunjobi, for assaulting a 73-year-old chief, Areola Abraham. This is just as the state government slammed a 6-month suspension on the Monarch. Ogunjobi had sparked outrage after a viral video surfaced showing him verbally and physically assaulting Areola. In the 2-minute clip, Areola was seen kneeling on the road while a man said to be Ogunjobi cursed him and his family while accusing him of conspiracy. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Government has placed the Monarch on a 6-month suspension for his uncivil conduct, not befitting the status of an Oba. BK, very heartbreaking, regardless of whatever the crime is. This is an action not befitting of an Oba. Your thoughts on this when you saw that viral video?
I was very angry because I felt that the Monarch behaved exactly like a thug. And at a point he was even saying, look, when the victim complained that he was healed after being slapped from behind. You know, that kind of slap can cause a seizure because he was not expecting it. True. And then somebody way younger than him just slapped him from behind. It elicited both shock and pain. And he then said, I'm sick. Oh. At that point, the Monarch said, we can kill you here. Nothing will happen. And he was also saying that he controls the police, that he will send him to jail and all that. I think that the police itself should take this matter seriously beyond the enforcement of the right of the man who was assaulted. You can't denigrate the police in the way that you have done, because he was given the impression that whatever happens, he can use the police to send a man to jail.
This is not the first time this kind of
thing has happened. What kind of police do we have? That people will just think that whatever happens, look, the police will back them, even if they were wrong.
True.
So is it that we have a police that operates outside of the law and will readily back a big man against the underdog? So that has to be cleared. The statement that he made should worry the police, because it doesn't help the image of the police for people to be talking in this manner. That means we have a police that is so pliable, that is always at the beck and call of big people in our country, and a police that will not back the ordinary person in the case of conflict. The police has to show clearly that it does not brook this kind of nonsense, or people humiliating the police as some activists will do. They don't do it to the army. They don't. I move around with soldiers a lot, and I see the respect people give the army. A lot of the nonsense that people do to soldiers, I mean to the police, they dare not try it with the army. They know they will get beaten. You know, and then this habit of believing that, okay, let me humiliate someone, beat him up and record the beating.
The nerve.
You know, believing that way you have diminished him, you have bruised his ego, and that his standing in the society will have been terribly eroded.
Exactly, worthless.
The mistake they make is, once it goes viral, it will trigger agitation for the law enforcement agencies to do something about the aggressor. Look at the woman that staff stole some of her things, jewelry and all that. And then she bought canes, pankere, for people to be flogging the girl, and then recorded it. At the end of the day, those guys were arrested. The police put them on trial. So some of the things, you see, that we put out for people to see on social media could, the blowback for us,
exactly.
the blowback would even be worse than the treatment that you meted out to the person that offended you. So this traditional ruler, if he was now Ujale, for example, because his area of influence must be a tiny one. It looks like an insignificant traditional ruler. People don't know him. You know, it's not somebody that you readily even remember his name. And he had this exaggerated impression of himself that people must be fiercely loyal to him. Otherwise, they don't deserve to live. Otherwise, they will be beaten. I wonder if he was a first-class traditional ruler, if he was a paramount ruler, if he was an Awujale,
what would he do?
Or an Ewi, what will he do? That means he will simply be decapitating people who offend him in the neighborhood. So I'm happy. We want to see what Ogun State government will do. If somebody does not deserve to occupy a stool, send him packing. Once you do the investigation, send him packing. We now have thugs becoming Obas in Yoruba land. Some people were thugs where they used to work. You know, maybe somebody likes them, that person, they make them king. I think politics some bribe their way.
Bribe their way into...
Rather than allow Ifa to determine who becomes king, some of them bribe. They can even bribe Ifa themselves if they have their way. So they bribe their way to the stool. And then somebody who is a roughneck, you allow a roughneck to become traditional ruler. What do you expect? He will be kicking people, he will be slapping his subjects anyhow. That is what we are seeing. We need to interrogate how people even get to become kings in Yoruba land these days. It's not like that. Some of these people don't deserve to be traditional rulers. And this is why we are seeing some of them, some of them who had robbed people of their lands in the past, they are becoming traditional rulers. So what do you expect? It's such a shame.
It is sad. But the Ogun State government has given 6 months suspension. But is that enough? Some have argued that he should be completely unseated from the throne.
Well, I think in the first place, we should admit that traditional rulers, in Yoruba land over history, they have some measures of powers. But that power is not absolute. That power, in fact, with the emergence of modern states, it has subsumed under the Nigerian Constitution. To the Nigerian Constitution, as far as the law is concerned, an Oba and an ordinary person on the street, they are equal before the law. Yes. And even before God, the idea of traditional institutions is the ingenious art of man in the evolution of human history. It's not as if it has been there all along. So, and even in those days, there were checks and balances for traditional rulers in Yoruba land. To the extent that Obas are expected to be the finest in terms of morality and ethics. That the custodians of the values, the language, the heritage of the people. So they are supposed to conduct themselves in a very royal manner. Men of few words, who are royal in everything that they do. But just like I said, these days, that in many instances, that position has been usurped by lowly people. Even from the way they talk, from the way they act, that these people are not even supposed to be very close to that stool. I think what the Ogun State government has done is in order. The first thing is to suspend pending thorough investigation. And I believe that after the investigation, I hope that the government will not just stop at that. Because we are talking about this issue because we have the opportunity to watch it, to watch the clip. Are we sure there are so many other things that this Oba may have done in the past that are unknown to people? I think this was not shown, recorded. No one will be aware. So I'm sure that this Oba is likely to be notorious for this kind of, actions that diminishes humanity.
What is this?
That man that, being slapped is 70 years old. And you that as an Oba, you know, former policeman for that matter. So some level of discipline is expected of you. And for you to, how will you expect the children of this man to feel watching their father being humiliated in this way? And you know, these are some of the things that causes communal conflict. What if his supporters they, you know, organize themselves to, you know, to react in a very violent manner? So, you know, I hope that the, you know, Ogun State government will take more action. I hope it's a lesson for other traditional rulers.
Exactly.
That you are just there because you have, you know, you are privileged. That does not mean
I don't think it's
that
not
you
just
have to lord yourselves.
rulers. Once there's some people, once you give them small power,
They want to abuse it.
Even when you go to parties, waiters, just a little part to share food.
Just want to use your power to oppress other people.
It gets.
So it's quite unfortunate. I hope they will not stop at just suspension.
Absolutely.
Thorough investigation. If he's found guilty, you know, he has to face the law.
Exactly, he should face the law. All right, let's move straight to the next.